afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the third hour in the second innings of Tracks Momentum with me, Anil, on the mic. Now, earlier on in the second hour, we had a special interview with a nutritionist, and now moving on to the second interview in the third hour is a very special one in light of the Olympics in the horizon, the Paris Olympics. We're going to today talk about a program that is in the limelight in achieving Malaysia's aspirations to win that penultimate gold medal at the Olympics. And at the heart of this is a program called the Road to Gold program. And a person leading this initiative is none other than the Road to Gold program coordinator, Datuk Stuart Ramalingam, who's here in the studios today. Datuk Stuart, good afternoon and welcome to Tracks.
Good afternoon, Anil. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. The pleasure's ours, of course, indeed. The excitement is palpable. We're just 4 days away from the Paris Olympics. And are you going to be in Paris?
Yes, I'll be there later this week, but I'm already in touch with the team that's in Paris. They arrived a couple of days back. They are doing the early forward team preparation to ensure that they receive the athletes and the setup of the Malaysia House that we're doing for the first time. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to say that things are moving on well so far, but I'm looking forward to getting there and getting my hands dirty as well.
Of course, and enjoying the festivities in Paris. Yeah, I'm told that the opening ceremony this year will be different, not in the stadium, but it's throughout the city of Paris. Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure the festivities will be great. I think all Olympics, especially a post-pandemic Olympic, everybody's looking forward to it. And Paris is a destination, of course. I believe the whole world will be paying attention. The whole world will probably be there as well. But our focus is on our 26 athletes and not letting the spectacle of it all get overwhelm us.
All right. Now, okay, let's dive in head first into the topic that we have in hand today because it's a rather juicy one, the RTG. So, Datuk, give us a picture on why was the RTG established and what is its core functions and the current number of athletes you mentioned are 26. So what are the core functions and why was the RTG established?
In March, April last year, when it was established to ensure that we are able to accelerate the medal opportunities for us in this coming Olympics. It's very late in the day, of course, in April, towards a years and a bit. Towards the Olympics, you have a lot of challenges in qualifications and getting the athletes up to a certain mark. They are all part of a very customized podium program.
Right.
But the podium program is a flat line across multi sports. But because of that, when the Road to Gold was established, is to provide customized, dedicated support to these potential medalists, to give them that little bit extra that they may not have now and what they need to take that leap. So it was established to ensure we remove all the bureaucracies within the system to provide a customized, dedicated budget. One of the biggest things was to ensure that we have customized and dedicated sports science services for these athletes. And ISN has been doing that tremendously well over the last year to ensure that we are able to provide the athletes the attention that they need. So the RTG was established merely to ensure that we were able to expedite a lot of these requests coming from coaches, coming from athletes, coming from the associations themselves, processing it in the speed that is required for these elite top level athletes. And I believe we're doing our part now.
It's good to know because I was doing some research to find out if there are any similar programs out there done by other countries. And one prominent one that caught my attention was how China had something called a Project 119 leading up to the Beijing Olympics. 119 being the number of gold medals that were available that China wanted to win. And they paid a special attention on 5 sports that they were least had a chance of winning a gold medal, which was track and field, boxing, sailing, and so on. And that Project 119 sort of took on an industrial revolution. They sort of took an industrial approach. They started from building the right facilities for athletes, ensuring that women were also included in participation. And it transpired with them winning the most number of gold medals in the Beijing Olympics. Your thoughts on that?
I believe every country has their own sporting ecosystem that established us a strategy to become an institution or to become a framework that is able to achieve results. In Malaysia, we have to work with the constraints and limitations that we have, budgets, attention, and priorities that is given to sport. And I believe that the first step for us is to ensure we get that first, not the 119, but the number one. I believe that will be the catalyst of change for attention to elite sport in Malaysia. I think that's something we're all waiting for, we're all hoping for as well. The pressures on the athletes, of course, and let's all get behind our athletes in ups and downs, and not only when we celebrate when there's a win, but sports needs that, the industry needs that we come together for that change.
Sure. Now, moving on to my next question, one of the great things about the RTG is the fact that athletes are given this additional cutting-edge support that you mentioned in terms of coaching, in terms of the equipment that they would require to give them that edge that they would need when they're performing, and as well as mental health and support as well. Mental health is probably the last hurdle that would allow them to go out there and perform at the world stage. So tell us about the specific training and development programs that are available to athletes in the RTG program.
Well, I think we got to make it clear that RTG is not technical. We are not a technical program. Don't get involved in the training of athletes specifically.
I see.
But we are an administrative program that provides the technical support that is needed for these athletes, for the coaches, and for the associations themselves. So we intervene in areas that we are requested to intervene, but we also don't overstep. RTG is made up of different stakeholders. You've got ISN, National Sports Institute, MSN, National Sports Council. You've got the associations. You've got OCM, also sitting in RTG.
Right.
And most importantly, we are also represented by 3 legend athletes, Datuk Wira Lee Chong Wei, Datuk Nicole David, and also Datuk Menawan Nawawi. So their input as well is tremendously important for us to put priority to the request that comes in.
Yeah.
Is it relevant? Is it important? Should we be spending money here? Does it actually affect change? So it's not an administrative and bureaucratic decision alone, but we have these athletes that actually have achieved it at the highest level to provide us guidance, administration guidance with this sporting insight. So it's very important that. And like you said, there's so many requests that we get from start of last year to where we are today, and even last minute requests just before the games we're still getting. But it's been tremendously encouraging to know that RTG has reached out to all of these various stakeholders, and I think the engagement is tremendously important to ensure that we are able to escalate the chances at the Olympics.
Datuk, what is the channel that you use to reach out to the athlete? Do you go out and sort of scout for potential athletes, or are you open for athletes to sort of bring themselves to you and say that I believe that I can?
So RTG is a very elite-based program. So podium is where the mass are, and the RTG has its individual criteria of qualification. That's why we only have 10 now, right? We've developed the fast-track program to look into LA 2028, where we've launched the fast-track for squash already.
Yeah.
But the athletes need to perform to get into Road to Gold. But RTG is not. If they're not in RTG, it doesn't mean they don't have support. The podium program is a really inclusive program. It's supported very well from sports science and also the technical inputs and from budgets as well. So it doesn't mean that if you're not in RTG, you're nowhere at all. Actually, you have a support program. But the moment you show potential for that Olympic medal, you're absorbed into either a fast-track program that accelerates you towards LA or into the main RTG program where you're a medal opportunity today.
Right. Okay. Now I want to touch on bureaucracy, red tapes. That's often a go-to conversation for sports heads when they sit down and have coffee and they say, why is it that our country is not able to send the right talent? Oh, yeah, that's because of bureaucracy. There are a lot of blockages. And I believe an organization or an agency like RTG has done a very good job in sort of clearing these blockages. So give us the nitty-gritties on how has this mechanics played out for you?
At lower levels, it will be hard for me to say. I think it's a benefit when I'm also not from a particular sport that is part of RTG. So I see it very administrative, very clear.
Okay.
And to be honest, it's very hard to acknowledge or even say there's bureaucracy in the athlete joining a program or to achieve a particular participation in a games or in a competition, because I believe sports is outside of all race and gender and inequalities. But I also believe that sports it's you against other people. You win, nobody can take that away from you, right?
Yeah.
So we hope that will remain, that positive, that good nature of what sports is about, and then bring and excel the talent to come forward. At RTG level, the support that we can give is very minor. These are athletes that Aaron and So have already won world championships,
Yes.
right? So we're not talking about athletes that haven't achieved anything. Azizul has already won medals before.
Yes.
So that little bit, that small percentages that we can assist to bring him to that position of that medal opportunity.
Yeah.
RTG is not on the bike. We're not holding the record, but we're there in spirit to support them as much as we can to ensure that they are, when they're on the court or when they're on the bike and they're on the podium, ready to dive. RTG has done our part in a small bit to ensure that they have that confidence that we have in them, that they will achieve that.
Just that final nudge for them to bring in that gold nugget back home, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Datuk, thank you very much for your thoughts. We'll jump in for a quick break. When we come back, we shall resume with this very fascinating discussion. Today, on a special interview right here on Tracks Momentum, I'm speaking to Datuk Stuart Ramalingam, the Road to Gold program coordinator, on our topic today, Road to Gold, Shaping Malaysia's Olympic Aspirations. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good afternoon and welcome back to a special interview feature right here on Tracks Momentum on Tracks FM, the People's FM. My name is Anil on the mic and I'm not alone in the studios. Joining me is the Road to Goal program coordinator, Datuk Stuart Ramalingam, and he's today talking to us on our topic, having a dialogue actually on the Road to Goal, shaping Malaysia's Olympic aspirations. Datuk Stuart, welcome back to this special interview. Now let's touch on measuring the success. A lot of critical people out there who have got their own metrics of assessing the work that you are doing in sports. And of course, everybody is beneficiaries of the sport. Every now and then we get someone saying, oh, this is not done right. And another person says, of course it's done right. But it's our responsibility to clear the air. So now, tell us, how does RTG measure the success and progress of athletes in the program?
I think this is first the magic of sport, right? So inclusive, it transcends gender and race and generations,
right.
And everybody feels involved. They've played badminton at some point, they kicked a ball at some point, rode a bicycle at some point.
Yeah.
So everybody has a say. But let me first take RTG as a coordinator, as a program. RTG doesn't do what the other stakeholders were already assigned to do, ISN, MSN, the association, the athletes, the coaches. So RTG provides a service that does not create confusion. There were already agencies and individuals hired to do a job. RTG supports them, provides them more than what they could have had before, for them to do their job better. So that's what RTG does. So personally, I would say that RTG, from as a program coordinator, if I am able to respond and provide the services to my clients, which is the associations, which is ISN, MSN, the athletes, the coaches, if I can provide them ample requests within a short timeline and providing them what they need, that's my success in terms of customer delivery. Because they are my customers, this association.
So you have a service level delivery.
Service level delivery standard, right? So I'm happy to say that, I think Rexy said this just a few weeks ago, and I was really surprised that he addressed this.
Yeah.
Because I think in a meeting we asked him, what more do you need? And he turned around and said, I don't need anything anymore. We've already got enough, right? So I think that kind of is the same status with most of the, if not all, of the athletes and the coaches and the associations within the RTG program. But, success and failure of RTG is a collective effort of all involved, right? So RTG is a provision of a top-up service to a group of stakeholders involved in the effort to get that medal, right? So associations, OCM, MSN, ISN, athlete, coach, RTG, we're all part of this collective effort. Right? So in success, I would celebrate it together as a community with them. And in failure, we should be ready to also collectively approach success. This is sport. There's win and lose,
of
right?
Course.
So as we prepare to try our best and to do our best for the nation, we should also be realistic with the approach of sport. So collectively, we should also stand up and understand how we're going to make it better if we don't succeed. But if we do succeed, it's also a collective effort of everyone.
Right. Great. Now we're going to touch on the expectations that we have. Of course, you would have reasonable expectations, but the general masses, the rakyat out there, we have been waiting since 1956. Fast forward from 1956 to 1992 at the Barcelona Olympics. That's when we first got a taste with the Sidet brothers, And then after that, of course, we've had smaller wins in Rio, in London Olympics, with Lee Chong Wei and Pocket Rocket Man. How far away are we, Datuk, from getting that gold?
I think the attention of RTG has always been on these Olympics, but also on the next. So
the Los Angeles Olympics.
So squash inclusion has been a fantastic booster for us. And I think it was important to have that as a next sport for us to also focus on, because we've kind of repeated the same sports every Olympics over the last few Olympics. And for us to have a new sport, for us to now gather the nation behind squash as well, which has always been close to our hearts, with Datuk Nicole David really spearing squash for us. I believe this provides RTG a long-term view of that we are here not only for Paris but also for the long term. But having you address Pocket Rocket Man Dato' Azizul and also Dato' Wirali Chongwei and
Pandalela as well.
Yeah, and
multiple.
One of the input given by them was that establishment of the Malaysia House, because because we go as a small contingent, and because when you go as a small contingent, you're only allowed limited accreditation.
Okay.
And all athletes go out to their sports, come back at a particular time, and there's always a bottleneck of services that you can do within the athlete village in itself. So having the Malaysia House allows us to provide a service not only to RTG athletes, but to all 26 athletes, coaches, support teams, and independents or non-independents or professionals or amateurs. From the 26 athletes, everyone can utilize something that was provided for within the RTG budgets as well. And this I believe, first effort for us, and I hope we maintain this Malaysia House for all the coming major games for us, because it will provide that level of excellence that's required in elite sport these days.
Okay, I think you touched on something really important over there, because a lot of times people overlook the amount of stress and the pressure that an athlete goes through when they're participating in the Olympics outside the event, because it's a busy event. And, having heard from other journalists as well, they have something called the mix zone, and that's where all the athletes are done with their runs or whatsoever. And it's a scuffle. It's a busy occasion, and it can take a toll on them mentally as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the requests from BAM was to provide a mental trainer, and Fred, the same mental trainer that was with Dato' Wirali Chongwei, is now part of the program as well.
Right.
And we're happy to say that there is a lot of positive feedback coming back from BAM on the inclusion of Fred, and I'm glad that has taken a positive impact. But it's not only addressing them from a mental state, but an emotional state as well. I think YB Hannah was one of the first to actually propose that why not we look at the cardiologist for Dato' Azizul to travel with us, to provide him that mental and emotional support, to know that there is someone there for him on standby as well. I think recently Dato' Sri Jaswan as well, he's mentioned that he will be in Paris with us, and that small contributions from us will provide that level of safety and care for the athletes that is going to really be pushing, because we're all behind Dato' Azizul. We believe he can do it for us.
Yes.
So this small little support that RTG has provided, we believe it will provide them not only mental support, but also the spiritual and emotional support that they need during this last phase.
It's got the entire entourage behind him, and the nation as well, Dato'. Yeah. And you've just, put the icing on the cake over here to show that, in a very subtle way, you've said that maybe we are very close to getting that gold medal, and I'm very excited on that. Now, let's talk about the challenges of a robust elite program like this. Let's face it, this is a very ambitious program, Dato', the RTG program. Very ambitious. Looking at how we fared over the last half a century in the Olympics. We've come close, we've got bronze, we've got silver, but gold has always been on the horizon, but we've barely touched it, right? And I'm sure to develop the resilience of a program like this, you would have overcome a lot of these challenges to sort of steel-proof it. So talk to us about some of the challenges you faced.
I think it is first a brave program to put forward. When you change the name of a road to Paris to a road to gold, you define your benchmark.
Your benchmark.
Yeah. So I take my hats off to YB Hannah and also to Tan Sri Norza for being brave enough to put that on the title of a program. Yeah. But because of that, it also provides us focus. That the focus is this elite achievement that is wanted, right?
Yeah.
So I think it provides the program attention and a responsibility that is needed. And with the guidance of Tan Sri Norza that's been in the system for such a long time already, he's able also to advise the committee. And as I said, we've already got 3 legend athletes that provide us a lot of input from the athletes that are not in the room. That is what the athlete would want us to do as an elite program like this. But from an association standpoint and a bureaucracy standpoint within the structures, Tan Sri Norza will be able to provide that as OCM president and also president of the one with the most medal opportunities in badminton. He will be able to provide us the input of what he as an association would need, and also as an OCM president, the guidance around the constraints and the limitations that we have. So as a coordinator, I feed off of a minister that wants the program to be specific, customized, dedicated, which is brave, with a co-chair in Tan Sri Norza that provides all of that bureaucracy in sports, politics to be able to provide, with a group of athletes that have achieved it all and providing the guidance to the secretariat to be able to do it, and with the CDM that is very football driven, but he's also been in the highest and lowest of sporting pressure. So he understands the mindsets of these athletes. So as a CDM, I believe he also brings his own unique experiences to be able to really connect with our athletes.
Okay. I think these hurdles have just strengthened the RTG as a formidable force. And just, Dato, to segue a little bit, we have got many listeners, the young listeners, young parents who are raising their kids to become future athletes. What is your message to them, and what is the word of assurance that you would like to give them, seeing that there is an agency, a program like the RTG that sees to it that the top-tier talent, the elite talent, is given the right support and opportunity to perform at your word of assurance, Dato?
It's hard for RTG to state the opportunity for the masses because we deal with 10 now, right?
Right.
But on the base, you've got 10, 20 million potential athletes and kids coming through the system. But I believe recently in the National Sports Council, they've made a lot of core policy change decisions and chaired by the minister herself. They've introduced KWSP and a proper salaried program for the athletes that are already in the talent ID programs, the lower programs of development, right up to the podium programs.
Right.
So there is a future being developed to ensure that the athletes are cared for over a longer period, and it's not a hit and run sort of approach. Sports has a lot of successes. We believe that when you send your child through sport, it also develops them as a stronger individual, mentally, emotionally as well.
Your resilience.
Making it to elite sport is a long journey, a long commitment, a long sacrifice for these athletes. But I believe this is what the nation needs. We need to be built around the unity of sport and the goodwill of sport. I believe it removes a lot of hesitations and the negativities that we face as a society today. And I believe sport is that. Sport allows us to be Malaysians again. So I hope that parents out there really commit to sport, because not only it develops a more inclusive Malaysian, but it also develops a better child.
Right. And I think like earlier on in the interview, when you opened up your premise, you mentioned sports has got the opportunity to unite us beyond race, religion, creed, culture. We can have differences in opinions over many things, but when it comes to sports, it's more like religion. And there's some things we agree on, some things we don't agree on, but I think in terms of sports, it comes to push come to shove, we will always choose to support Harimau Malaya over any other team when it comes to soccer, especially in our country. Let's jump in for a quick break. Today on this special interview, I'm speaking to Datuk Stuart Ramalingam. He's the Road to Gold Program Coordinator, and he's today talking to us about shaping Malaysia's Olympic aspirations. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good afternoon to you. Welcome back to Tracks Momentum. We are in the third hour of the show and we're having a special interview feature in light of the Paris Olympics. In less than 4 days, we have Datuk Stuart Ramalingam, the Road to Gold program coordinator, and he's today talking to us about shaping Malaysia's Olympic aspirations. Datuk Stuart, welcome back to Tracks Momentum. Now, Datuk, let's shine the spotlight and talk about some of the success stories that you want us to know on the athletes that have shown potential over this inception of the program.
I think a lot of it is on the operations of how RTG has worked. I think getting Azizul back in shape and recovering from his fall prior to the Asian Games was important. On a call from John Beasley and the request for an oxygen chamber to be paid for in a hospital in KL was immediately done to ensure he recovers fast enough. He missed the Asian Games, yes, but his recovery was our priority. These are successes that maybe outside doesn't see. Besides him participating and winning bronze medals in the Japan track cup, these are the things that probably outside sees. But within RTG, a lot of it is the efficiency of the movement that is needed to support not only Dato' Azizul but Shah Firdaus, John Beasley as well. The association in the request and provide them more competition participation to get them primed for their competitions. But even with with Aaron and So finishing second in the All England and the badminton squad having more support and performing better through the support services that we are providing, a lot of it is behind the curtains. So we share in the successes of these athletes, but it's not up to us. We cannot take credit for it. It is down to the associations, the coaches and the athletes for the successes that they've achieved. But I believe that RTG has played its small part in those sort of wins, and we hope that the big win will come with us over time.
Now, let's talk about sustainability and also growth. So one of the most important things about a program like this is its longevity, so that it just doesn't become a fad. Does something, and then after that, everybody forgets about it. And of course, I can, if I may add on to what you've mentioned, the other objective in a program like RTG is to diversify the sports portfolio, to include more sports. Just like what China did by focusing on sports that they were not good at. Maybe we can take the same approach as well, because we never know the hidden talent that we can find. So what is your take on ensuring a sustainable and steady growth for the program?
If you take one step down at the podium program, there's obviously a discussion in terms of inclusion of other medal sports. We see the establishment of the high-level committee, the HLC, between the Ministry of Youth and Sport, the Ministry of Higher Education and Ministry of Education on the focus on combat sports, athletics and even aquatics, where there are more medals normally at this level of games, but also providing us a lot more opportunities for talented youth to be found for these sort of sports, because there's so many different events that they can participate in. But at an RTG level, the legacy programs that we are establishing is to ensure that the requests from these athletes doesn't just go unheard, or even things that cannot benefit a wider community. Datuk Pandalela, for example, and I was just on text with her a couple of days ago, and she was the one that requested a mini rehab center to be established in the diving center, so they are able to get the support services immediately. And this is things that we delivered, and now it's enjoyed by the entire diving squad.
Not only athletes who are under the RTG program.
Correct. So Roddick, for example, his pre-Olympic program was in Australia and now in UK, and Dabita, also she was part of RTG, was dropped out, and now she was also included into the trip to UK. So she's in preparation for the Olympics in UK, and that's also a side beneficiary of the things that we do. But a lot of it is also an intention of the legacy to ensure that whatever that we try to invest in is also enjoyed by other athletes that are part of this program.
It's a very inclusive program. Good to know that. Good to know that it's not only for, every time this word elite sometimes ostracizes the other athletes who are also busting their guts to make a name for themselves. But it's good to know that the facilities can also be enjoyed by other athletes as well, not only the elite. Datuk Stuart Ramalingam, thank you very much. I've been looking forward to having this conversation with you in the studios. It was a very enriching conversation. But before I let you go, our country, we're expected to send a rather smaller contingent this year to the Paris Olympics. I can't wait to see our flag bearer raised and hoist the Jalur Gemilang out in Paris in the streets for the opening ceremony. Our chief de mission, Datuk Hamidin, has been optimistic that we have the potential of winning 2 gold medals in the mixed doubles, Aaron Cheso Woyik, and also the pocket rocket man. Your final thoughts on this before I let you go?
We hoping for the best, definitely. The CDM has his ambitions and his goals. Obviously, RTG, as the name says it, we're also trying to do our best to ensure that we're able to provide the best platform for our athletes to participate. But at this level, I think we're a week or a few days to go before the start of the Olympics, and it's up to the athletes now and the coaches. They are already there. They're already primed. It's what happens on the day of the event. Let's, as a nation, get behind them. We talk about all this social negativity sometimes, and it's a big topic today, I believe. But let's get behind our athletes as a nation. Win or lose, I think as a nation, they've made us proud to get to that position of opportunity. And as a nation, I believe we also need to acknowledge the sacrifices that these athletes have done, not only to win a medal, but just to participate at that highest level. They've made us proud.
Of course. Datuk Stuart, thank you very much for your time. You have a lovely day. All right, that is a wrap for today's edition of this special interview on Tracks Momentum. And as Datuk Stuart Ramalingam mentioned, we've all have to come together and, weave our arms together, hoist and raise our Jalur Gemilang and support our athletes. And as he mentioned, win, lose or draw, as the saying in Malay goes, perjuangan masih harus diteruskan. So from our first ever glorifying moment in Barcelona to London and then over to Tokyo and now to Paris, I strongly believe that we are getting closer to bringing back a piece of that Eiffel Tower that will be etched on this Olympic medal. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back in the fourth hour of Tracks Momentum with another special interview feature. Thank you very much.